populated by First Men for thousands of years, the Kingdom of the Storm was ruled by House Durrandon, who claimed descent from Durin God's Grief, a legend from the Age of Heroes that married the daughter of the Sea God and Goddess of the Wind, suffering their wrath until he worked with Bran the Builder to construct Storm's End, a mighty fortress to withstand the terrible storms plaguing his territory. Successfully resisting 7 attempted invasions by the Andals, House Durrandon eventually married the foreigners and converted to the faith of the Seven. Fearsome warriors, they conquered the Riverlands and part of the Crownlands at the height of their rule, but eventually declined and retreated to previous borders. King Argilac Durrandon even attempted to resist Aegon's conquests, but could not withstand Targaryen dragons, fighting to the death in the Battle of the Last Storm. Refusing to surrender, Argilac's only child Argilla locked herself in Storm's End to declare herself the Storm Queen, but was betrayed by her guards, who delivered her gagged, chained, and naked to hand of the King Orys Baratheon, the best friend and possible half-brother of Aegon Targaryen. Yet Orys showed compassion and treated her well, winning her admiration and love. As a reward for his conquest of the territory, Orys Baratheon was named Lord of Storm's End and Lord Paramount of the Stormlands, after which he married Argilla and in honor of his predecessors took the Stag of House Durrandon as his banner, along with their words, "Ours is the Fury." Maintaining close relations with House Targaryen, Rhoynar Migration served as hand to Maegor and Jaehaerys I, while his daughter Jocelyn married Aemon Targaryen and gave birth to Rhaenys, the queen who never was. Siding with the Green faction of Aegon II during the Dance of the Dragon Civil War, Lord Boros was defeated and killed in the Battle of the King's Road, bringing victory to the enemy who crowned Rhaenyra's son Aegon III as king. Yet relations between Stag and Dragon fell apart when Prince Duncan the Small broke his betrothal to the daughter of Lord Lionel Baratheon in 239 AC. Furious, Lord Lionel rebelled and declared himself Storm King until defeated in single combat against the Kingsguard Sir Duncan the Tall. Though the Targaryens were victorious, they recognized their fault in the situation and so wed the king's daughter Rhaelle to Lionel's son and heir Ormond Baratheon. Lord Ormond then fought and died for the Targaryens in the 5th Blackfyre Rebellion, while his son Steffon survived the war and later served on the small council of Mad King Aerys II. Though Steffon was a close friend to the king, his son and heir, Lord Robert Baratheon, eventually rebelled against the monarch's cruel and violent reign, gathering allies from the North, Vale, and Riverlands to overthrow House Targaryen in a war from 282 to 283 AC. Ruling for 15 years, King Robert put down the Greyjoy Rebellion of 289 AC and died nearly a decade later in 298 AC, leading to the War of the Five Kings, in which his brothers, Stannis and Renly, each claimed the Iron Throne in opposition to Robert's sons, Joffrey and later Tommen, rumored to be the illegitimate children of incest between Queen Cersei Lannister and her brother Jaime. While Renly was swiftly defeated and Joffrey assassinated, Hand of the King Tywin Lannister nearly secured total victory for Tommen by 300 AC, though Stannis refused to surrender his claim and slowly gained traction in the north. The first territory populated by First Men, migrating through an eastern land bridge with Essos, the desert lands of Dorne were ruled by petty kingdoms for thousands of years, similarly fractured after the invasion of Andals, who established their own realms, sometimes conquering or mixing with the original inhabitants. Among these Andal adventurers was Morgan Martell, who founded House Martell from the Castle Sandship after taking lands from the First Men houses Wade and Shell. A cautious family surrounded by rivals, the Martells never ruled and instead survived by bending the knee to other kingdoms when necessary, like those of the houses Jourdain, Alarion, and Ironwood. Yet their fortunes changed around 700 BC, when the Rhoynar princess Nymeria arrived with what remained of her 10,000 ships, searching for a new home after fleeing the destruction of their homeland in Essos. Seeing opportunity in this mass migration, Mors Martell welcomed the Rhoynar and wed the princess, forging a powerful alliance that conquered the entire territory in Nymeria's war. Abandoning Andal traditions in favor of Rhoynar culture, Mors Martell was crowned Prince of Dorne rather than king, and ended agnatic primogeniture, which named the firstborn son as heir, in favor of absolute primogeniture, which named the firstborn child regardless of gender. Growing their power, the capital was named Sunspear, with House Martell choosing a golden spear through an orange sun as their sigil, while embracing the words, unbowed, unbent, unbroken. Taking this motto to heart, Dorne was the only realm in the Seven Kingdoms to successfully resist House Targaryen and their dragons, defeating Aegon the Conqueror in the First Dornish War by using the harsh terrain to their advantage, often abandoning settlements to disappear in the mountains and deserts, only reappearing to launch guerrilla-style attacks against the invaders. When Rhaenys visited Sunspear upon her dragon Meraxes, she found only Maria Martell, the old but relentless princess of Dorne, who refused to surrender and told the queen, "You may burn us, my lady, but you will not bend us, break us, or make us bow. This is Dorne. You are not wanted here. Return at your peril." And indeed, Rhaenys returned in 10 AC, only to suffer defeat and death when her dragon was shot in the eye by a scorpion bolt. 3 years later, Aegon Targaryen ended the invasion and accepted Dornish independence, though some of his descendants would not, resulting in 4 more failed invasions over the next 2 centuries, including the final Conquest of Dorne, where Daeron I successfully captured Sunspear and subdued House Martell, only for the small folk to continue the resistance, likely supported by nobles in secret, leading a brutal and merciless rebellion that ended with the death of the Targaryen king and retreat of his forces. Aside from the Dornish Wars, Qhorin Martell fought against Prince Daemon Targaryen and Lord Corlys Velaryon by supporting the Triarchy in the War for the Stepstones from 106 to 115 AC. Though Prince Daemon was initially successful, claiming the title King of the Stepstones and the Narrow Sea, he eventually abandoned the territory, which later fell during the Daughters' War of 131 to 134 AC. Yet after 5 failed invasions, Dorne finally united with the rest of the Seven Kingdoms in 187 AC through a marriage alliance where King Daeron II wed Maria Martell, while Prince Meryn Martell married the king's sister Daenerys. Becoming staunch Targaryen loyalists, House Martell supported the royal family in both the Blackfyre Rebellion and Robert's Rebellion, sending 10,000 warriors to fight in the Battle of the Trident, as Elia Martell, a daughter of their house, was married to the Mad King's heir Rhaegar Targaryen. Yet the battle and war were ultimately lost, seeing most of the royals killed, including Elia Martell and her children. Having little influence during the reign of Robert Baratheon, they remained neutral in the War of the Five Kings that followed his death, as the Martells had a secret alliance with Viserys Targaryen, the exiled heir of Aerys II, who escaped to Essos as a child. When Viserys was killed, the Martells hoped to continue this alliance with his sister Daenerys and support her return to Westeros. A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like Captain Marvel, DMB MSC, Pete J. King, Daedry Dragonswit, and Lady J. Booknerd. If you'd like to help the channel, be sure to give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the links below, or else go to patreon.com/CivilizationEx, where you can gain early access to videos, vote on future content, and watch the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.